Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Lobo. The channel is called Zoopf Visual Effects. Of course, this is the visual effects channel, guys. If you actually enjoyed that video intro that you're still watching right now, you guys know what to do. Please like and subscribe, as it always helps me to continue to make more tutorial contents like this for those of you who are new to the channel. But for those of you who are actually visual effects artists, you guys know what to do. If you guys dig, also like and subscribe. But if not, it's because you already know how to do all these things, and it's totally cool. You might still learn a few tricks and trades from me, and if you do, totally cool. If not, totally cool too, because it's all about learning from each other, going out there and creating something even more cool. Okay, that being said, guys, there's a folder that you guys need to download beneath the description tab. It has all the assets that you guys will be able to follow along with this, and I will always try my best to leave the information of the artist that created all these very cool 3D assets for us to create these very cool scenes. Okay, also I want to be able to do this full time, guys, so I left a link to my Patreon channel. If you guys dig my style, you guys dig what I do, be a patron of the channel. $1 a month helps a lot, guys. If I can do this full time every day, I'll be able to create more contents on a daily basis and leave the big ones for the weekend. As you guys can see, I can only create maybe one content on a weekly basis. Sometimes it takes even longer than that because I have so much other things that I have to do. But if you guys can empower me to do this full time, then I'll have no other choice but to do it for you guys. Okay, so that being said, let's get started right now. Okay, let's go ahead and start right away. Composition, new, and I'm going to call this warships. Okay, obviously I don't know how to spell again. And 4K for me, 24 frames. If you guys can't do 4K, do 1080p please. Once we get here, go to layer, new, solid, same thing. I'm gonna call it warships. Alright, I made the same mistake. Oh my gosh, war hips. Somebody stop me. 4K here, click OK. Once you are here, we want to start with the cloud. Now for the cloud, I have trap code particularly. One click of a button, I was able to create everything. Very cool. Okay, save me time. But if you guys don't have that, I'm gonna quickly show you how to do it just using After Effects fractal noise. Okay, so here's my fractal noise right here. So just go up here and just type in fractal noise and it'll pop up. Once it pops up, just throw it in here. Okay, we're gonna be using contrast, brightness, transform, complexity, and maybe some evolution as well. Not this one, but this one should be okay. So first we gotta scale this up, so just go and scale it up to about where you believe it should be cool. So I'd say 800 should be about cool for me. Once you are here, you gotta crank up the complexity here, so 10, and it gives you that sharpness again. Once you're here, it's all a matter of deciding what these clouds should look like. So I like to just, you know, play with this, and you guys get to decide what you want to do. Okay, it's totally up to you guys. You know, you get to control the brightness of the clouds as well. Again, totally up to you guys. You guys get to decide. Usually about 72 is about right for me, and the brightness about right there is about right too. Guys, once again, up to you. Okay, I'm only showing you guys what you need to know here. So once you're here, click T for opacity, or you can just open it up like this. Okay, but T is the easiest way to do it, and just make that 50% for now, because all these clouds have to, because you're gonna make more than one cloud, and as you make more clouds, the opacity will undo itself to back to 100%. Hopefully that makes sense. Once you're here, we do have to make this 3D. Once you've made this 3D, go to view, do 2 views, and we need a top view. Once we are here, go to layer, new, let's do a camera. I'm gonna leave mine at 50 millimeters. Click OK. Once you are here, take your camera to about right there, and as you can see, we can see the outside here. It's totally cool because now you gotta click C, and first let's move it to where we believe it's totally okay. So as you guys can see, the outer is passing just a tiny bit of where the camera is. Okay, so that's why we don't have to do much with this first one here. But now let's duplicate, do Control D. As you can see, by bringing another one, it became brighter, right? So now I think you have a better understanding of what I'm talking about. So click S to get the scale to come out. And for this one, we are actually going to back it up because it needs to be back here about right there. And as you can see, it creates this, right? So to fix this, you just have to scale it out to the point where the camera just doesn't see it anymore. Now it's creating this very cool effect where it looks like we're going right through it. Okay, so you guys can keep that if you want to. You guys can play with that. It's totally up to you guys. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a different look. Okay, I'm just gonna give it a different look because it's a different cloud that we're going through, and that's important. Okay, so I'm gonna crank up the scale. Actually, I'm gonna take the scale down to about 700, and it totally give me a different look, which is totally okay. So what's gonna happen now is we're gonna pass right through. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So when we pass right through, we need to see what's happening. Okay, so see, as you can see, we are seeing the other solid in the back, so it's giving us that 3D effect. Okay, it's a fake 3D effect, but it's still giving us that look because the camera is going through one, and as it goes through one, it is going through the other one already, but it's finishing the first one as it's going through the second one. And so because of that, it's giving us that 3D effect. But at this point right here, what's gonna happen is it's gonna cut, and when it cuts, that's when we have to do an opacity. Okay, so the only way to do this first is to decide first. You have to lay down all of your layers. Okay, so if you might have 20 layers, or you might have 5 layers, or you might have 10 layers, lay down your layers and then set a keyframe for your camera to go right through all the layers first. Once you're done with that, then go back and do the opacity. And so that's exactly what I'm going to show you guys right now, but I'm only going to do it with 2 layers. Okay, so let's say camera right here, transform, position here. So I'll say at about 4 seconds, well, not 4, so let's go back here first. I want to bring the camera back here like this, and then at about 6 seconds it will go through the whole entire thing. Okay, so now that we have this, we can see exactly what it's doing. Okay, so now you'll be able to tell exactly when the cut is. Boom, that's the cut right there. And then it goes to the other one when it cuts, and there it is. So we know for a fact the cut is right, let's see again, right there. So I'm gonna zoom right in, and I just want to make sure. Okay, so the cut is right there. So now that first layer has to fade out so that the second layer can fade in. So what you also want to do is just name these properly too. Okay, so just say 1, and then here say 2, and boom, now there's no more confusion. And for the first one, click T to go to opacity, and we know for a fact right here it has to fade out. So set your keyframe right now, and you want it to be at least a second. Okay, so about right there. We'll take it back to 50%. Okay, and so let's just see how it looks now. So it's gonna go through, there it is, boom, and now it's gone to the second one. Okay, hopefully this makes sense, guys. Okay, this is the best way to fake 2D into 3D, especially clouds. But for me, I just use particular because I didn't want to spend 20 minutes doing this. I just want to click one button and be done with that. But this is how you do it for the clouds here. Okay, and that's about that. Let's go ahead and start a new solid, and we're just gonna call that stars. Okay, and once it's here, I'm gonna move right on top of everything because I don't need these right now, and I want you guys to again use fractal noise. Okay, so there it is right here, and I'm gonna drop this in here. Once you are here, we're going to be using the contrast, the brightness, and the transform because of the scale. So I'm going to take that down to, I don't know, maybe 15. That looks pretty good. And then the contrast, it's all a matter of deciding how bright you want your stars to be. Okay, how you want to contrast the stars. And then the brightness, you want to go to a negative number so you can, start getting rid of them and just decide how you want things to look. So for me, this looks pretty good. When you do things in 4K, you have to understand that things get, smaller, and because they get smaller, they get sharper. And for stars, negative 113 at 1080p, that might be, you might not even see anything anymore. But for stars, in 4K, you kind of have to play with a different number. Okay, so that to me, that looks pretty good. And then the next thing you want to do is you just want to throw some glow in there. Okay, throw some glow in there, and then just crank this up to 5 and take this down to about, you know, maybe 3, and decide how you want this to look right here. I'll probably take this down to about like this. Okay, so if I zoom in, you guys can see, I can see a whole lot more stars. If I zoom out, the bright ones are, you know, your bright stars. And if you're like, this isn't good enough, then just crank this back up to where you want it to be, and now you have more of a star feel look. Okay, and to give it some different look here, you know, you can just rotate all of these around too, and it gives you a total different look. Okay, so that takes care of the 2D star in After Effects. Alright guys, it's time for us to create the scene right here. So let's go ahead and go to layer, new, solid, let's call that planet. Click OK. Let's move that down here. If you guys can see, I moved the stars from down here to up here. When you create a scene, either you're going to move the solids up and down, or you're going to move the solids from left and right, depending on what you want to see first. Okay, so for the planet, let's go and go to Effects, Videocopilot, and VC Arb. Again, for VC Arb, I would rather just recommend you guys to go to Videocopilot, watch Andrew Kramer's tutorial on his own plugin. Much better job than anyone who will show you how to do it online. Okay, this is his plugin, so watch his plugin and create the world that you want to create first. So sometimes you're gonna run into these problems right here. Why is the planet here? Well, it's because our camera was already messing around with these two down here. So all you have to do is just reset it, and boom, there it is right here. Okay, what I like to do is I don't like to mess around too much with this, so I'm going to just take it to 500. Now the thing about VC Arb is it will allow extremely large textures. Okay, so if you have an 8K or a 16K, even better. It means that the closer you get to the planet, the texture quality is still the same. Now the texture that I have for you guys is only 2K, and so the higher you crank this up, you're gonna lose the texture quality. Okay, and so you're gonna rely on the clouds to be a really high quality to kind of hide the texture quality of the planet. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Now I'm gonna keep that at 500, and the only thing I'm gonna do is texture the planet. Okay, I'm not gonna get crazy with it because I just need to see some contrast behind the two spaceships. Okay, let's go and go back to project, picture, and let's just bring that in. And your folder should look something like this: YouTube tutorial assets. Double click on that, planet textures, and just bring this one in. You can bring the other ones in later at your own leisure time to create your planet you want. Okay, but for me, I'm just gonna bring this right here. I'm gonna drop this down here. I'm gonna unclick that, and then I'm going to go back to my planet, and on these I'm just gonna drop it in for the diffuse, and I'm gonna drop it in for the glossiness, and I'm gonna drop it in for the bump. Once I get here, what I like to do is I always like to just click these two right here. That gives me a totally different look, and I always usually like that look. But this for you guys might just be all that you need. Okay, once you're here, I usually take that to about 0.25 for the bump map, because in reality, from a far distance, no planet are sharps. Okay, and then from here, the glossiness, I'm gonna take that down to 0.3 because it's too glossy, and I'm just gonna leave it like this. Okay, to me that looks good because I just need some contrast behind the two spaceships. Okay, once we are here, let's go ahead and start a new layer, new, solid, and call these ships. Okay, now I'm gonna move pretty quick through this, so I do apologize if I'm moving way too quick. All right, but time frame wise, just trying to make sure it's not 60-hour long tutorial. Go down to element. Once you get here, click scene setup, and it's gonna take us to the scene here of element. I want you guys to create two folders. The first one is ship 1, and the second one is ship 2. And what you guys want to do is make the ship 2 into group 2. Okay, because we want to be able to control each two ships separately by giving them each a null. Ship 1, click import and go back to your folder, double click obj spaceship capital, and bring this one in here. And once you bring it in here, click normalize size. And if you're wondering why all these colors are there, well, it's actually part of you know, texturing. Most 3D models are color coded, so that when it's time to texture, it's super easily textured. Okay. Once you're here, just click on that, right click on your mouse and just click reset. Do the same thing for all of them because we're not texturing right now. We just want to show the ships, and the texturing will be up to you guys. Okay. By now I assume you know how to texture. Okay, if you don't, let me know. I'll do a tutorial on texturing the way I do it. Spaceship, again, Tempest, click on it, click OK, click normalize size, and it's already in the right spot, so that's good. Same thing guys, go here, right click and just reset everything. Okay, boom, just like that. Okay, once you are here, that's all we need for now. Click OK. So now what we're gonna see is the planet and both our ships. Okay, so I want to go to 2 views so I can see the top, and from the top you can tell that the ships are bigger than the planets, which is totally okay. So you have 2 choices. If your texture is 16K, then you can crank up the size of the planet. That's totally okay. But since our texture is only 2K, see it says 8K here, but it's really just 2K. So the website I get this texture from wasn't like really truthful about, you know, the size of the texture, and so it's 2K because it's 2K. That's why I only want to crank it up to 500. Okay, even at 1,000 I think it's too much. All right, so now what are we gonna do? Easy. We have to null each ship to its null. So the best way to do that actually is to go here and open the group 1 and open the group 2, and in group 1 you see here create null group. Go down here and click create. Boom, it's created for that. Same thing here, boom, it's created for that. Now bring these 2 right and put it on top of the ship and just rename them ship 1 and rename this one ship 2. Now we know for a fact who's who. So I'm going to bring ship 1 over here. I'm going to put it right here, and what I want to do is I want to minimize ship 1. So instead of going back into Element 3D, you can just do it right here. Click 5, and I want you guys to do the same thing for the other ship 5. But we also have to bring that ship now right here, and all we're going to do is we are going to put it to the side like that, and boom, there it is. All right, so once we're here like this, that looks really cool. And so the next step is making sure that our camera is locked to those 2 ships. Okay, so click on your camera, and this is your point of center here, and you want to move it to where the ships are. So now that we've done this, I want you guys to grab the back of the camera, okay, and just move it forward. And when you move it forward, we're gonna zoom back in here. What's happening is our center of point is right there. So no matter what we do, we are gonna be centered toward the ships, right? Isn't that cool? I think it's totally cool, guys. But knowing this little trick here has just saved you hours of not understanding After Effects camera. Okay, that being said, once we have that, we don't need this anymore. So as you can see, our planet is super close and it's lost its complete texture quality, and it should, because you know it's first of all it's 2K, and second of all, in order for the texture to be super sharp, you'd have to create everything at the very sharp level on, like, right on top, not on top of the planet, but you'd have to be on the ground of the planet and then zoom out, and then it would look good. And no computers can handle that kind of texturing. Okay, so, and even no engine gaming engine software can handle that kind of computing. And so the best way to do that is to go back to our planet and simply just Z it out. Alright, I just made up that word, guys. It does not exist. Okay, so just Z it out, and then to a point, to a place where you want it to be, and then just move your camera where you want your ships to be first of all. Okay, and so, well, click on this icon here so you can see exactly where things are. Okay, and that looks pretty good. So once you're here, just move your scene back where it should be, just like this, and your planet should move back to a place where you want it to be. So let's move our planet closer, let's move it to the left, and let's move it down just like that. Okay, boom, there it is, just like this. Okay, so that is how we want it to look, right? And that pretty much takes care of this scene right here, guys. Okay guys, this next scene we're going to do some motion tracking really quick, because at the start of the video tutorial, our video example here, you guys can see we are still moving in the scene, and as we're moving in the scene we see lasers being shot. We also have some smoke coming out, and they're all following the scene. Okay, and then even the lasers here are still following the scene, and boom, even the explosions are still following the scene. There are two ways this can be accomplished. You can do it not frame by frame, but half a second per half a second, and then just moving your lasers or your explosions in the same location, or you can track your motion. It's totally up to you, but the best way to do this first is to set up a camera. And so this is the shot that we want. Because it's the shot that we want, we need to make sure that we set our keyframe at I would say maybe 6 seconds. Set your keyframe here, and then at 0 take it back to a spot where you want to take it back to. So make sure you click on 2 views here and go to top views. Okay, from here again, don't click on the Y, Z, or X, but instead go to the back of the camera and then just move your camera out. Okay, from here we'll say for the sake of the tutorial, this distance is exactly what we want. Okay, so from right here to right here, as you guys can see, we're gonna be right here, right? And so at about right there, that's probably where you want to start tracking your footage, because that's when After Effects will be able to see the footage better. And so what we want to do too is click here and set a new keyframe, and then elongate this ending to about 12 seconds. So it's going to take 6 seconds for the shot to come to you. And to make this even slower and better, right click on your keyframe, go to keyframe assistant and click easy ease, and I would even say drag it even more to about 16 seconds. Okay, it'll give After Effects all the time that it needs to track the motion properly. Okay, and this is the small trick that I figured out to track motions properly when you come from long distance into close-up shots. All right, because if you go way back here, trust me, After Effects will not be able to track it, and I don't even think mocap will be able to track it either, because it's so pixelated you can't see anything that you're doing. Okay, and so once you're here, you just have to decide where you want the tracking to begin. Okay, so let's go back to one view now that we have what we need. And can After Effects see what you want? And so let's go ahead and track guns on the ship. Click Scene Setup, and once you are here, let's go and just put a big gun on each ship. Okay, and so I already have these 2 guns set properly, so that takes care of that. I just want to show you that really quick. So once we are here, again, decide where you want to start everything. And I think because we have 2 different colors here, After Effects should be able to see it properly. But for the sake of the tutorial, I'm going to put it at 10 so it's even closer to the camera. Okay, once we are here, all we have to do is grab everything. So click Shift, click on the last one, it grabs everything, go to Layer, and then we have to pre-comp it. That's the only way any track motions will work in After Effects. It has to be pre-comped. Okay, once you're here like this, let's just say pre-comp, actually pre-final version. Oh my goodness, pre-forma. What am I typing here? What am I typing? Okay, once you're here like this, if you double click, it's still going to take you to this section here, which is exactly what you want. So once you are here, you have to make sure you are at full. Okay, that's the only way it's going to work properly. if you don't see your tracking motions here, then just go to animation and you can just grab them from here, okay? But I always put mine here so that it's right there in front of me. What you want to do is you want to track the motion. So click track motion. It's going to open a new window. It's going to take you here. So once you're here, you can actually zoom in, grab this point here and drag it to wherever you want it. So make sure you open this very wide so that no matter where it goes, it can see it, okay? Because we are zooming in, so you have to make sure that it's pretty wide out there, and then just decide where you want it to be, okay? So I'm gonna put mine right there because it's red, and then there's just a white little piece here too. Okay, so from there you have two ways you can do this. You can do it manually, hand by hand, which is one and frame at a time. So if I click here, it's going to create a frame, and so I need to open this up so you guys can see it. See, it created a frame for us, right? So you can do it this way. So if you do it this way, you're making sure that no matter what, everything's in. I need to also warn you guys that this tracking is not the best. I think the best is Mocha for After Effects, but Mocha is it's more difficult to use, and so that's why a lot of people just go straight to the After Effects tracking point and just use that. So once you think it's good, and we also know that it's gonna end at when is it going to end? It's going to end at 16. You have to make sure that you set this to 16, okay? So that you just let After Effects do its thing, and that's it. Once you're here, click back. Oops. Go back here, and then just click on the play icon, and you just let After Effects do its thing all the way to the end. So how do we use this? It's easy. So just click on your tracker, copy it, and bring it back into your scene here, okay? And let's make a bit of room, and let's go ahead and use some fire here. Now again, I've always guided people back to Action Essential 2 because it's part of Videocopilot, and he has some really cool stuff. We're gonna grab some fire. I got the 720p because back then it was hot stuff. Now 720p is a joke. But still, because they're just small things, we don't always need it to be 4K or 10K or 20K because it's just a small scene that we need. So I'm gonna bring this right here and put it just right here on top of the ship, okay? And then what we copied from here, we're gonna paste it into this. So just paste it. Once you paste it, it opens up just like that. Open it up all the way and open your transform 2. Then make sure you click Alt and click on position, and then grab the pig whip here and pig whip to featured center, okay? Once you're here, as you guys can tell, it's automatically locked itself to our scene here. So we have to again decide where we wanted to start this whole entire thing. So if you started from here, that's gonna work. And so let me see, I think we wanted to start from 10. Let me go back here just to make sure. Yep, we were at 10. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to bring this back to where you started your tracking. Okay, so 10 seconds, it was exactly where we started. And now in order to make sure that this works properly, let's go in and take the scale down to about 2 and just see how it's like. 2 is obviously not working, so how about we try 20? Okay, there it is right here. And then in order to, because right now you can't move it because it's locked to the tracking, so in order to move the whole entire frame, you click on this icon here and it's gonna move our center point, and we're just gonna put that on top here of the gun. And so if we did everything properly, this whole entire thing should follow, the fire should follow the gun, right? And so let's see for ourselves. What I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna shut the planet down here. Okay. All right, then I'm gonna go back to my big fire, and we're just gonna click spacebar. Now there you go. So as you guys can see, it's following properly. It's locked to the gun. And I'll show you guys this little trick right here too, so you can still move the solid to exactly where you want it to be. And guys, this is exactly how I did this scene right here, you know, when I'm still moving and the gun, the lasers, the explosions, the fires, and everything is moving in the scene as if it's part of the scene. Okay, and this is a very difficult way to do it, and I hope that down the road Element 3D will have its own particle system within Element 3D that you can attach anything to it, so that we can do all of this within Element 3D and just see it live in After Effects. Okay, alright guys, that takes care of this section here. Okay guys, the next step is just to create some lasers really quick. So what we need to do is we need to go back to our element section here, go back to our ship, and just bring some side guns so that we just have some reference to shoot from. Okay. Alright, and that looks pretty good. Alright, so then I'm just gonna click OK, and now both our ships have gun that we'll use as references. I'm gonna move this to about 17 here so we can see exactly where they are. So from right here, let's make sure we save, and we're gonna wanna create a new solid, and we'll just call that laser, and I'm only gonna shoot it from one side and from one part of the gun. Okay, the rest will be up to you guys to get crazy with it. Use Videocopilot Saber, it's free. Okay, download it, super awesome, and it's free. It's crazy what Andrew and his team has given us free. Click normal, not normal, click screen, get on the normal tab here on the mode and click screen so we can see everything. Always remember the bottom part is the starter and the top part is the end. So then just zoom in, and once you're zoomed in here, of course things are going to be pixelated. It's just the way it is, unless if you move your camera forward so you can see better, but then that would mean that you'd have to do everything all over again, and you don't want to do that. And once you're here, just decide the size of it. 1.5 is good enough for this right here. And one thing that I want to show you guys so you understand it is, once we move the solid, the whole thing shifts. And so if you're gonna see some coloring changes in your master version. Okay, once we shift things over, what you're gonna see is a color is this will be black, and then blue will move forward here, and you don't want to see that. And so the best way to fix this is simple. You just have to scale it to wherever the shot is gonna take place. So once we're here, of course we have to go back and we have to fix this. So just take it back here and just take that back here. And is it gonna be perfect? No, it's not gonna be perfect for me, but it's okay. And so once you are here, all you have to do is go to position, select your position, and for half of a second it's being shot. And so click here and just shoot it. Okay, and just decide it where it ends, and maybe it's gonna end right here. Does it even make sense? No, it doesn't make sense. So instead it's gonna end maybe right here. Yeah, and then once it ends right here, you have to make sure that, see what I'm saying? So what this would look like is, this would be black and this would be blue because of the color of the laser. So to fix this, you just have to, oh, I'm sorry, that's not the right thing. You have to go back to your scale, and you have to really crank it up, because now we know it's gonna end right here. Okay, so now we know it's gonna end right here. We have to go back to the start, and we just have to fix this again. And once it's here, you just set an opacity for it. So let's make sure we can see everything here. And then let's just move this up. We know that the position is right here, and so maybe at about right there. Instead of using the opacity here, we're gonna use the core size. Okay, so from right here to right here, it'll just become nothing anymore. And so when you do put in some blur, oh no, not a 3D, but some blur into it, you'll have a total different look, you know. So the laser is being shot, there it is right here. And so from right there you can decide how much glow you want to put in, you know. Do you want to get crazy? It's up to you, but 100 will be totally okay here. And as it goes in and it fades out, it actually looks pretty cool. It's up to you guys, alright? However you guys want to do this is totally up to you, but that's how I created the lasers, using Saber and making sure that my solid was moving properly with the whole entire shot, okay? And so guys, that takes care of the lasering here. Alright guys, hopefully you guys learned a lot today from this tutorial. If you guys put everything that I just asked you to do together, you should be able to come up with a scene just like this, okay? And from there, it's just a matter of tweaking a few things here and there to get that perfect look that you're looking for, okay? Once again, my name is Lobo. The channel is called Zoopf Visual Effects. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial today, like and subscribe, tell all your friends about me. And if you guys want me to create more things on a daily basis and leave the big things for the weekend, help me out. Be a patron on my channel. $1 a month helps a lot, okay? The more of you empower me to do this, the more opportunities I'll have to do this on a daily basis. But that being said guys, again, I am Lobo. This is Zoopf Visual Effects, and I will see you guys next time. Bye bye now.